When it comes to the Hun invasion of India, most of us know about Mihir Kula. But in my view, it was his father Toraman who was the most influential Hun ruler. It was during his reign that most of the northern India came under the control of the Hunas. But this rule of Toraman did not last long. And in this video, we will talk about how Toraman's rule came to an end. But before talking about this, I think it is important to discuss one aspect about Toraman which is quite perplexing. When we analyze his coins, we find that there is no mention of the Hunnic group to which he belonged, which is quite perplexing because we know from the early sources of Toraman that he belonged to the Alkan Huns. But in his coins, there is no mention of the term Alkan, and even the Tamga or the emblem of the Alkan Huns is not mentioned. So why that is the case? To answer this question, we have to look at some of the theories. There are some scholars who argue that Toraman was trying to hide his Hun identity, and instead of proclaiming himself as a Hun ruler, he was trying to show that he was an Indian ruler, and that is why we see that in his coins he did not mention the term Alkan, and the Tamga of the Alkan Huns is also absent. This theory rests on the different coins that were issued by Toraman. There is one coin which we find from the Ganga Valley which does not mention the name Toraman. Instead, it mentions the name Prakāśāditya. And earlier, some scholars had argued that Prakāśāditya was a Gupta ruler. But recent scholarship has argued that this Prakāśāditya was none other than Toraman. Now, we will analyze some of the argument that is presented in favor of this theory. Firstly, when we analyze this coin of Prakāśāditya, we find that this type of coin is similar to the Gupta archer type coin. And on the face of it, there is no difference between these two types of coins. But when we analyze these two coins closely, we find that there are some important differences. Firstly, when we analyze the Gupta archer type coins that were issued by the different Gupta rulers, we find that here Garud symbol was never depicted. But in the Prakāśāditya coins, we see that here Garud symbol is depicted, which means that the issuer of this coin was moving away from the usual norm. The second difference is how the rider is depicted in the two types of coin. If we look at the Prakāśāditya type coins, we find that the rider is wearing a distinct type of crown. But in other Gupta archer type coins, we find that the depiction is very different. Now, interestingly, if we look at the crown of the Alkan rulers, particularly this coin, here the depiction matches the depiction in the Prakāśāditya coin. Now, these two evidence suggest that the rider which is depicted in these coins was not a Gupta ruler. But one question which could be asked is, how can we be sure of the fact that this person is Toraman, not someone else? To answer this, we have to look at the legend on the Prakāśāditya coins. Now, the complete legend is not readable, but from the parts which we can read, we find that the style is similar to the style found in the legend of other coins which were issued by Toraman, particularly this silver coin. Now, interestingly, this silver type coin of Toraman, which also mentions the name Toraman, is based on the Madhya Desh type coin of Gupt. Now, what is even more surprising about these coins of Toraman is that even the Garud symbol is copied. He has not removed it. Not only this, we see that the copper coins that were issued by Toraman are copied from the Gupta copper coins, which means that Toraman was actively trying to issue coins that were similar to the Gupta coins. So if that is the case, the theory that Prakāśāditya type coins were issued by Toraman is more believable. The fact that Toraman was issuing coins similar to the Gupta suggests that at this point Toraman had control over the Gupta mints. For example, the Prakāśāditya type coins are found in the Ganga Valley, which means that these type of coins were issued when Toraman had conquered the Ganga Valley. All of this suggests that Toraman was actively trying to portray himself as the successor of the Guptas. That is why he was issuing coins that are based on the Gupta coins, and that is why we see that the Alkan name is not mentioned, and instead of the Tamga of the Alkans, we have the Garud symbol of the Guptas. But these attempts of Toraman did not succeed, and in the territories which were conquered by the Hunas and which were earlier part of the Gupta Empire, we see that there was a general sense of instability. In these territories, the resistance against the Huna invader had not died yet. One such example comes from Eran. Eran was already an important place. It was here that Toraman had fought the battle to conquer the Malwa region. So it was from the same region we have evidence of another struggle against Toraman. The evidence comes from an inscription that was inscribed on a memorial stone. The memorial in stone commemorates the death of someone called Gopraj and his wife who performed sati after the death of Gopraj. The inscription tells us that here Gopraj and his friend Bhanugupt fought a famous battle. Now, there is no other evidence that can tell us about who Gopraj and Bhanugupt were. But there are some scholars who argue that Bhanugupt was a Gupta ruler. But when we analyze the inscription, the title of Bhanugupt is not Maharaja Dhiraj or Parambhattaraka, which were the title of the Gupta rulers. Instead, he is just called a Raja, which suggests that most likely this Bhanugupt was not a Gupta ruler. Instead, he was a local feudatory in the Malwa region. The inscription does not mention who the enemy was. It just mentions that the battle was fought in the Gupta year 191, which is 510 AD. Now, from the inscription, it is clear that Gopraj in this battle died, and afterwards his wife committed sati. What happened to Bhanugupt, we do not know. Now there are scholars, there is this general consensus that the enemy who was fighting against Gopraj and Bhanugupt was none other than Toraman, because this was the region where Toraman had control. And with this victory of Toraman, in these territories, the resistance against the Huna invaders died down. Some scholars even argue that with this battle, which is also called the Second Battle of Eran, the Gupta Empire virtually ended. From this time onwards, the Gupta Empire will not play a major role in the politics of northern India. For Toraman, if he had thought that now with this battle, the final resistance against the Huna invader has died down, he was wrong. Within 5 years of the Second Battle of Eran, we see that another power rose in Western Malwa to challenge the Huna rule. These were the Aulikaras, and it was during the reign of their king Prakāśāditya that Toraman was defeated. In an inscription, Prakāśāditya claims that he had achieved victory over Toraman by easily defeating him. And he has also dedicated the ladies of Toraman's harem to Lord Shiva. If these claims of Prakāśāditya are true, then it appears that around 515 AD, Toraman suffered a serious defeat by the Aulikaras in the Western Malwa region. One of the major consequences of this defeat was that the 15-year-old rule of the Huns in Western and parts of Central India came to an end. It appears that around the same time, that is 515 AD, Toraman also died, and if Manjushri Moolkalp, which is a Buddhist text, is to be believed, that Toraman most likely died in Kashi. But after the death of Toraman, it appears that the region of Ganga Valley was lost by the Huns. In the Ganga Valley, another power rose who were called the Maukharis. Now about these Maukharis and the successor of Toraman, who we all know was Mihirkula, you can watch this video when it will be uploaded, and you can watch all the videos about the Huna invasion here. Thank you for watching.